that sometimes is made between the words vegetarian and veganism.
I think that's where it came.
And maybe you could talk a little bit about, not just sometimes the distinctions are made and maybe they're the same, maybe they're not, but also saying what you mean and meaning what you say.
I think that's exactly, because like on the first calendar or the first 2 years of the Jivamukti calendars, there's the wording is vegetarian.
Adherence to a strict vegetarian diet.
The wording
I think that's what it
changed.
says.
Yeah.
A strict vegetarian diet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You all know that Patanjali tells us in the Yoga Sutra that if we are interested in yoga, if we are interested in enlightenment, if we're interested in reconnecting, remembering our source, knowing God, then if we're not quite there yet, if we don't consider ourselves enlightened beings yet, meaning if we're still seeing others and not God in everyone that we see, not the higher self in everyone that we see, then Patanjali says, for goodness sake, don't hurt them, don't lie to them, don't steal from them, don't abuse them sexually, and don't be so greedy as to impoverish them. And those, I'm sure you recognize, are the 5 yamas, or ways to restrict your behavior in relationship to others. On your way to yoga, on your way to full-blown enlightenment. So satya means truthfulness. Satya is the second of those yamas, those very specific directives. And the word vegetarian means a person who eats vegetables. That's actually the original meaning. Vegetarian is a word, it means someone who eats vegetables. Milk is actually not a vegetable. What? Eggs, eggs are not vegetables.
Yeah, all these years later.
But then I have a question, because a grain is also...
Pardon me?
Is it a grain a vegetable?
A grain?
Yeah.
A grain is a vegetable. It's a plant.
So bread is vegetable?
Yes.
Ah, I didn't
Yes.
realize this.
Rice. Okay.
Well, if you put it in the category of like animal,
vegetation,
mineral, right? Like so, vegetation, grain would be in
Yeah,
in
in that
vegetation,
sense, yeah.
right?
Okay. So yeah, vegetation, plants.
Yeah.
But we human beings have a way of changing things to suit our purposes and sometimes to suit our bad habits. So the word vegetarian came to mean, yeah, someone who eats vegetables and ice cream and omelets and cheese pizza and even fish sometimes and chicken some other times, or maybe at the same time. But they still eat vegetables too. So, yeah.
I'm mostly vegetarian.
Yeah, mostly vegetarian. So because of that, there was this very concerned man. His name was Donald Watson. He's from England. And he said, you know what? I don't know what people are talking about anymore. So he made up a word, vegan, to mean vegetarian. To mean someone who only eats vegetables, someone who only eats plants. And so now, of course, that word vegan has come to mean what it means. And but as an attempt, like I wrote a book called Yoga and Vegetarianism, because it was my little meager attempt to try to say what I meant and to mean what I say. Because if we, like, I have nothing against the word vegan. I use it all the time myself. And I appreciate it when it's on the menus and when it's on, the packaging. I really appreciate it. Because of the situation in the world today. You're not sure. So you want to be sure. But where is it going to end? Where none of us say what we mean or mean what we say. In India, yogis who have kind of had enough of the babble of people not really telling the truth, and they're concerned about themselves slipping into that. They've come up with a brilliant solution. A brilliant solution. They just say the name of God. So you say to a yogi in India, what are you having for lunch today? Hari Pyari, Jai Shri Krishna, Radhe Radhe.
How was your day?
Radhe Radhe.
Get out of the way. Radhe, Radhe.
So you can't go wrong with saying the name of God, because the name of God is truth. And okay.
Can I ask one more question in addition to this?
This is your place. You can do what you like.
I don't know.
We're here.
You're right now the lady of the
You're
house.
good graces.
We've been hanging out at Name Karoli Baba Ashram, right? You know that in Vrindavan. Name Karoli Baba, he's the beautiful one, right? He's everywhere. Name Karoli Baba, he's the guru of many of the chanting people. What kind of amazes me, and that happens at more ashrams, but for instance, especially at Name Karoli Baba Ashram in Vrindavan, that at night they come by with warm milk. This is an ashram. The milk is coming straight from the cow, and the pujari, who would say is also on his way to, he brings you milk, and he kind of, I always refuse it because I think it's disgusting, but they actually take it as an offense if you don't take the prasad of the mother cow. And there I always felt in a really weird jinx. I was like, all right, they say the yoga tribe says don't have milk, and then they come in at an ashram, they come to your door, dude, and I really dared, I can think for myself, but like to be placed in an ashram.
That's good to know.
It's nice to know. To be placed in an ashram, which is, let's say, a spiritual community around some guru, and then to be confronted with that, like have milk, you don't have milk. What is this?
There is I think, at least for me when I'm in that situation, the tendency is to be concerned with maybe feeling like I'm being disrespectful to a certain lineage. It's a lineage and a tradition combined. It's a tradition.
Make sure to claim that word.
I'm going to start speaking English. If you come across a lineage or a tradition, and the feeling in your mind like this has been going on for so long, and you don't want to step on the proverbial toes of the people that are there, I think that it's important, at least for me, to have a broader view of what is happening, like let's say in other ashrams that are the lineage is perhaps just as old or just as ancient, and see how they themselves, people who were brought up within the culture or been steeped in the culture for longer than us, are questioning tradition, because it is happening. And if you go to other ashrams, for example, we have a teacher training at the Govardhan Eco Village, which is run by Radhanath Swami, some of you might be familiar with. And he's had this temple, not the actual ashram, but a temple in Mumbai and other places, since, 40 years he's had this place. And he also started a program called Midday Meals, right? Because as some of you know, when you're growing up and you don't have money to buy food, and there's no food in school, the options are go outside and work, or beg, or borrow, or steal, whatever you you can. The government made an agreement with Radhanath Swami. It started in Maharashtra, which is the state where Mumbai is located. And it's blossomed now to states all over India, and they serve 1.2 million meals every single day. Not in a week or in a month or in a year. 1.2 million meals every single day. They are somewhat subsidized by the government, but not really. Like a lot of the money that they use to pay for this stuff, they raise it themselves by doing this, having satsang, like what we're doing for PETA, to allow PETA to do the work that they're doing. And it used to be that the staples were some kind of yogurt thing, right? Because now this is a Vaishnav tradition. This is a Hare Krishna tradition, which saying no ghee and no milk is basically blasphemous. Some people, like very strict people, would say that would be blasphemous. This is what Krishna had. This is the nectar of the mother cow. As of last year, they've had this program running for a couple of years. As of last year, 1.1 million of those meals are now vegan because of the work that Radhanath Swami did with his congregation. He went to the meetings. He showed, he has groups. This satsang, he has satsang, and 2,000, 5,000 people are showing up. Indians who have also been raised in this tradition. And yeah, he experienced some resistance. In some cases, a lot of resistance. But he knew that if his guru was really alive and his guru could see what was happening on the larger scale of things, he would say something about it. Now, we've also spent some time in Vrindavan, and we've been to a lot of the goshalas there, which are the cow protection places. And it makes you wonder, if the doors were open, would they stay? The condition of them, right? Because they call it a goshala, and they call it a place for the cows, but when you're actually there, and the cow in Vrindavan, like if they had the choice to go to the forest, would they? And it seems yes, especially if you spend some time, and the mud or the manure can be this thick, up to the cow's legs. And I think this is what Sharon G and David G have been so effective. And the vegetarian, the vegan message is part of that, is question everything. And don't accept it just because it has been done in the past, or everybody might not be excited with your choice. And in fact, the reward is that much sweeter when you're able to really feel good about the decision, especially in the face of adversity. Not only when it's easier or convenient. Like here, it's relatively easy to be vegan. It's not. I mean, compared to, I was just in Jakarta. This place is like amazing, right? So, but in other places it's easier. Definitely, other places it's harder. But it's the shift in consciousness comes from us also being a person that sparks questioning in another. Right? So maybe the person giving the milk doesn't even question fundamentally what's happening. And then they do, and maybe, what did Gandhi say, the first thing that you're met with truth is violent opposition, then denial, and then acceptance. And people don't like to be told that the thing that they've been doing for 2,000 years maybe has changed to a place where it's not exactly what it was. And who likes to be told that their habits are not great?